Good morning, Belita. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good.
Good, good. Is it just the two of us on? Or
So far, I'm sure um some others will be hopping in. We just went live, so for right now, it's just
okay.
us. So how's business going?
It's going. I'm what I'm about to do, and I need to do too. I need to start marketing more.
Okay,
And I
awesome.
need to do one of those aggressive type marketing where I'm there all the time,
Yep.
like I did. So I need to start doing that to get more clients.
So
And
have you figured out which way you want to market? Is it going to be Facebook, something else?
I'm thinking it might be something else, but I'm still
Okay,
trying to decide which one it is. It might be
gotcha.
some Facebook, but my Facebook really isn't one that I am active, I guess, on, you could say,
Gotcha.
as
Okay.
much. And I don't get a lot of feedback from Facebook. So
Okay.
I'm looking at another way. My husband's trying to get me on a virtual site or a site
Like a
that
virtual networking something.
yes, where it I can get out there more and into more into my what is that called algae? It might not be algae. Where you get more hits. It
Um,
start
I'm
with
not
a. I can't
al
think of the name.
the algorithm.
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm. Where I can get more hits to do that. So I'm just now. I'm like, okay, I gotta get busy.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely. Well, yeah, definitely figure out. So the clients that you have right now, those came from like you went in person and met some people and then got referrals or something. Is that correct? Am I remembering right?
the one, well, it was through Facebook. The one, but
Oh,
it was
okay.
like it was a classmate,
Okay.
and he, brought me in. That's the one. That's the lawyer. He's a
Okay.
classmate, and through him, I got the car dealership for the courts to,
Okay.
for working with the courts. So that's how I did that. He said someone else he was referring me to, but he hasn't given me that information, or either he was going to give it to her and then she would contact me, and I haven't heard anything from that yet. So
Awesome.
she
Well, then
needs to
I
get out there for
definitely,
me.
yep, I definitely would not discount Facebook any then because I
Yeah.
mean that a lot of times and I hear that all the time. People are like, "Oh, well, I don't have business owners on my Facebook page, so I don't want to post or I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. I don't want to blow my friends and family up." Yeah, but you don't know and just like in your case, this was a classmate. You don't know who knows somebody or who else may own a business or anything like that. You don't know who's watching because there's a lot of my business posts, most of the people that interact with it are other bookkeepers or something. It's usually not a lot of business owners, regular business owners, or friends, family, or anything like that that I went to school with, but those are usually the first people that are referring me. And I mean, it might be somebody that I've graduated high school with, I haven't talked to in years, but they saw on my Facebook. So definitely, I mean, I wouldn't, if you feel like that's not going to be huge for you, don't spend a ton of time on it, but I would still be active and show up some. So it can just be copying and pasting a post a couple times a week or something, and just letting people know, like, hey, I'm still here. I still have my business and I'm still doing this thing. That way, if something comes up there. But of course, like if you feel like whatever this other group is, that's where you want to spend your time, definitely dedicate your time there. But it sounds like you're looking to get clients pretty quickly. So the more you do, the more opportunities you have because you want to get in front of as many people as possible for sure.
Yeah. And then I need to see a couple of more different areas than what I'm doing. So that's what I'm doing. That's what
Awesome.
I have to write everything down and and then I'm going to do a vision board.
Awesome. It's that time of year to
Yeah.
start getting all that ready.
So I think it's the 16th of December. We were talking about having, I'll be getting things together for we're having a group of ladies and we're going to do vision boards. So,
Awesome. That'll be fun.
mhm. So
Awesome.
that's where I am right
Good
now.
deal. Awesome. 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 How's
And
everybody
I
else doing?
reached out for the ladies that you said that could maybe help me go over some of the stuff, and they're not available until next year.
For the law firm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kristen, I don't remember who all I told you.
It was
Kristen,
uh it was I'll tell you, Abby uh and Christian.
okay, Abby, I can send her a message and find out. Kristen, I know she has her calendar blocked because her schedule's crazy, but if you
Mhm.
message her, she can send you she can open a slot up that works for you and then you can go on and book. Um, because I
Okay.
did have somebody else reach out to me about booking with her and the conversation I had with her was that. But let me I'm gonna send Abby a message right now and see. Cause I'm pretty sure Abby's available.
And then you said, I think you say J
Jara?
J J
Yep.
Jar
Yeah,
and
Jara.
I think she was busy too. I said, oh, everyone's so busy.
So I know Jara just sold a house. They're moving, but I did the same thing last night and got someone on her calendar within like 30 minutes. She met with them same day. So she has a lot of a nighttime availability. I think her calendar is just a little crazy, but also just for anyone trying to schedule one-to-ones, especially going into the holidays, make sure you're trying to schedule those at least 48 hours in advance because coaches kind of restrict their calendar so that they can plan. And that's going to be really important going into the holidays because they want to plan their day. So
I
they already want
understand.
to know who's on their calendar, if at all possible.
I do understand that. I know the holidays and they're busy trying to get
Okay.
everybody together.
Belita, so Abby said she definitely has time slots available. She's doing a one-to-one today, actually, she said. So I would definitely go back and look and see. And if you still don't see anything, let me know and we'll or send her a message or something like that and we can get that set up. Because it sometimes, and I will tell you this, there was a Calendly issue sometime this week because somebody said it wasn't even available at all. So it could be something Calendly's in. And then sometimes if we put stuff on our calendars, it blocks it out and we don't realize it blocks it out because I've had that happen to me before too. Didn't know I didn't have availability, but I really was available. So like let us know because it may be that we do have availability and it's just something's going on funky or whatever.
Okay, sure will. Thank you.
You're welcome. How's everybody else doing today?
Good. How are you, Megan?
I'm good. Good, good, good. But Lita, it looks like she has some availability next week. She just took a picture of her calendar.
I did.
Well, I say next week. For sure next week. It may be other days too.
Yeah, I'll get with her.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and that's Abby, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Okay.
Megan, you mentioned earlier in talking to Belita about posting on posting on our personal pages and letting our friends and family see. And I just kind of wanted to I shared a story with you earlier, so I'm going to share it with everyone else. One of the reasons you want to be letting your friends and family know, we don't, again, not selling to them, right? So um, we're not in an MLM. We don't need recruits um, in this business. And even if you are, like, MLMs, you can actually turn into a real business without getting recruits. So that aside, I just wanted to clarify that I'm not bashing MLMs. There's some really good ones out there, but when your friends and family know, they're going to get to watch your journey. While they might not need you, I think a lot of people underestimate the number of business owners they already have because they don't know what their friends from high school are doing.
Right.
Or, like, they've changed careers and jobs, or, they fell into a business. I just had a military friend, so not a friend from high school, but a friend from church. He's a lot older. Not a lot older. A lot older than high school friend. Like, thinking about high school friends and like younger friends or whatever, but like, he is well established, right? He has had a career for a lot of years. So now he's in his mid 40s. He just got an opportunity to buy a really large company and move his family back closer to his wife's family. That's a big shift. You don't know when those things happen. You also don't know who's watching you. So I know when I started my business, well, after it started on me, I, started kind of thinking, okay, what type of clients would it be really cool to have? And those people that you're like, you have a cool business. I want your business one day. Like, they become like your dream 100. One of those just signed up for my services. He had a bookkeeper. But I knew when I was posting on Facebook and sharing stuff, it was, oh, hey, he liked it. Cool. He liked it. He saw it. He didn't always, because maybe he didn't see it or whatever, but like occasionally he would see something, even if it was just a casual post of like me and my kids or whatever. Like, but he was also a friend, just a friend that like we connected with on Sundays, not necessarily like we couldn't always get together with their family. Anyway, so we built a personal relationship, but his dad's business. I'm like, one day I'm going to get your set of books. Come to find out, they had a bookkeeper for 10 years. No wonder they weren't eager to hand it over. But also, as you start thinking about it, they had a bookkeeper for 10 years. They're not a new company themselves. I'm really glad they didn't try to give me their books in the first 6 months of business. I probably would have fumbled it because I was still forming my own systems and policies and procedures. I might not have been ready for them. They're a larger company. And while I could have, but like I had young kids, like my kids were younger, I was in a different stage. I was still trying to understand this thing called business. But his bookkeeper just did something really funky. So they gave me the books. They're like, we only know of you. You're our only other option. Like, please, can you take our books? What would you charge us? And, I just gave them an upfront, like, here's really what it is. I think you were currently paying too low, but I think you're trying to be pitched too high, whatever the situation was. Right. But like, they followed me for 3 years before they were ready to hand over their books. It just kind of, I became their on deck person. I attribute that to someone in this group that said on deck, but like I became their on deck person. They knew of me. I was their go-to. And I was top of mind because they were seeing posts if they'd come across anyone. And I got a lot of referrals that way, just because someone knew someone or came across a conversation. Oh, Sherry is the person that knows more about business, financial, whatever, that I know on Facebook. You might talk to her. And I got a lot of those. Just, you might ask her about this, you might ask her about that. And so I'd have a lot of conversations. A lot of times I'm like, I'm not a financial planner, so I can give you a name, but I got to become the connector. I got to become the person who probably knew someone to connect them to. So it would start with Sherry. I'll take that. That's a really good place to be. And that was only because I started sharing what I was doing on Facebook. And if you see my Facebook, it is not like Megan's. It is enough to tell you, yep, I am still doing what I'm doing. Speaking of which, Megan, I was talking to a student this week, and she answer this question. Do you post on Facebook just because you want to? So she thought you were just posting because you wanted to. And I'm like, nope, that's 100% marketing strategy.
Yeah, Kyle and I were talking about this yesterday in the group, actually. I'm like, because I shared with you and Kyle that Facebook kept sending me these notifications like your posts are being seen more because you're posting every day now and you're interacting, and like it keeps sending all these tips and stuff. Well, they ended up sending me like $40 or something because of my post and all this stuff. But like because Facebook keeps sending me those notifications that like, hey, you're posting every day, your stuff's getting seen more. I don't want to lose that traction that I've gained. So sometimes I don't feel like being on Facebook. So I'll open Facebook up and the first thing I see, I just share, or I have this picture saved. So I'm just posting it just so I put something out there so I don't lose that traction for my business, for everything that I have going, you know? So yeah, it's definitely not because I just want to. Not at all.
I was like, no, that takes a lot of work. And because, you do share motivational stuff, you share scripture, you share sermons, you share all kinds of things, which is relevant to your market because you're connecting with them and building relationships as well.
Yep.
Right. So small
Is that
businesses.
on the business? That's a business Facebook or
No, that's my
your,
personal Facebook page.
oh, okay.
And you upgraded to professional, right? Is that
Correct? Yeah, I do have it set up as professional mode.
What is professional mode?
I'm honestly not really sure. It's pretty much the kind of what I gather from it is it's like your personal page, but they let it like it's more businessy. So like you can kind of treat it like your business page. You get followers, you can get paid for posting like those sort of things, but you still have that control of, you can add friends and all that stuff, the stuff that you can't do to your regular business page, essentially.
Well, that kind of makes sense. I actually just followed a personals page that was a business owner, but hers is as a follow versus a add as a friend.
Yeah.
And I was super confused by it. I
Yeah.
did
And
not
you
know
can,
that was an option.
yeah, normally you can follow and add as a friend, but like usually follow is the first option that it gives you instead of sending a friend request. So like I'll get a lot of people that follow me versus like if I send a friend request, they'll accept my friend request. But most of the time if they send me something, it's just a follow. Especially like if you do reels or anything like that, it's usually a follow, not a friend request. Somebody just posted on Facebook and said it's like an influencer setup. So
so you're not supposed to post to business on your personal page in like the terms of conditions on Facebook. They want you to have a business page. This is the workaround if you're doing business on your personal page to do a professional page. Yeah. For sure. So you don't just have to be an influencer, but absolutely. It is Facebook's attempt at that too.
Yep.
A lot of coaches do that if they're building like a personal brand. All of those things, which influencer, all of those things. So
how do you do a personal page?
Like turn it
I think
professional.
it's in the settings.
Yeah, I had I think it's been a while since I've done it. I think if you go to like your page, there's an option. And it may just be settings. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't have mine's already set up, so it's not really giving me.
Okay, I'll just check it out.
Yeah, try to check in your settings and like go to your profile itself and see. But but I think that might be, it's somewhere there for sure. Let's see, does it cost cost anything to do a professional setting? And have you noticed a difference in responses? So the professional setting itself does not cost anything. I do have my page is verified or whatever they call it, and I do pay for that every month, which I think is like $15 or something. And the reason I went that route was because in the beginning of 2020, my page got hacked and I had built my audience like almost 5,000 people, like had potentials, messages, and like all this stuff where I had kind of built all that, and my page got hacked and deleted. And I also had pictures of Kaylee from a baby and all these things, lost everything. So paying for that, you have like a support help or whatever. So if it were to get hacked, you can kind of get it back supposedly. So yeah, but you
So
don't
if
have to
you
pay for
go-
the professional.
Yeah, sorry. If you go to your profile settings, so like update profile, there's a option to turn on professional status, and then you can also above that there's meta verified, and that's what Megan's talking about right there is meta verified,
Yeah.
and then below that you have turn on professional setting, like professional
Yeah.
profile.
And I will tell you this, even like with the meta verified, like to change my profile picture, like you have to submit a picture of your driver's license, like all kind of crazy stuff. So like it won't let you just change your profile picture. So like it is definitely protected. Elise, have you noticed a difference in responses? I don't know that I've noticed a difference in responses per se, but you can, very similar to your business page, you can see the insights and stuff. So you can see how many people your post reached and how many people interacted with it and all those things. Whereas like on your regular page, you can't specifically. So you can like look at the insights and stuff.
And guys, we've noticed, all of the coaches have noticed there's something going on with Facebook right now.
Yeah.
But know that on average, you get a 5% engagement rate the first time so when you post something, you're gonna have about a 5% people see this post, right? After that, if people start engaging with it, liking it, commenting on it, it's going to then kind of get a second life. Because I think a lot of people right now are seeing stuff 3, 4, 5 days, like a day later. Like
Yeah.
I'm definitely not seeing stuff same day. So there's something going on with the algorithm and going into holidays where they're doing something. We noticed some funky stuff even in, as Megan said that, like there was some funky stuff on our business page too, our group settings. And so know that like when you post, you might not have 100 people see it. Don't let that discourage you, because they're going to see it days later, and it's the point of it is to be top of mind. So posting in and of itself is not marketing. That's not the marketing. That is staying top of mind. That is building relationships. That is connecting with people. It's not marketing in and of itself. I mean, it is a form of marketing, but also like if you're creating Canva posts and they look like an advertisement, Facebook is going to hide those more than if you post a picture of yourself at your desk working or whatnot, and then sharing a story with it. And I think that's why those long form posts that I think some people don't like, where it's, this long post you have to scroll through. Well, here's why those work. You're staying on the platform and you're scrolling. Facebook knows you're scrolling on that post to read more of it. Facebook knows you clicked read more. And that is engagement. That is Facebook knowing, oh, okay, this caught attention. Therefore, I'm going to share it and promote it. So the long form post isn't really about your audience, whether or not they like it or not. It's about getting engagement at the end of the day, because people are staying on your post longer. So just to add some explanation around that. So when it comes to marketing on Facebook, that is building relationships with people, engaging with other people's content, commenting on other people's posts, wishing happy birthday, genuinely being the friend you want to be in the backyard barbecue on Facebook,
Right.
right? That's all the marketing. So you are part of your own personal brand if you're a business owner. So
Yep.
because people start to know, like, and trust you. And that's the same with in-person marketing. So I think I was telling, at least I think this was you at one point. But if you're doing in-person marketing and you really like in-person marketing, fantastic, because that gives you face-to-face marketing ability. What you want to do with that is you do want to add them on social media so that you're continuing to see them, you're continuing to build that relationship, especially if it was a one-time marketing event. So I met several people at both of the small business expos I went to who literally, so one of them I met, it's like a friendship in the making now, but one of them I met at the very end of the small business expo in Dallas. So we went to, there was like a networking event after the expo. We went and kind of walked around that. I talked to a doctor and a lawyer, both females, could care less that they were there. They did not like, it was like, hi, I'm a doctor. Okay, what type of doctor? What do you do? And it was like pulling teeth. And so I was like, I guess this conversation, like, it just, I couldn't get her to engage in any sort of conversation. I'm like, why are you at the networking event? This makes no sense whatsoever. So, and I had that happen with a lawyer too. So I was like, all right, I'm out. And I turned around, looked for Kyle. I was like, where are you? I'm done. Like, 2 no's. Can I give myself permission to bow out of this? I had already had some really good conversations before that. So I find Kyle, walk up. He's in a conversation with 2 guys. I thought they had been in this conversation for like 10 minutes. Turns out, like, I joined the conversation at the beginning and found out that one of the guys, his name is CJ, and he literally stopped by the event on his way home from work just to see how he could network or like participate in the event as an attendee. So he was doing in-person networking and he was meeting up with some of his buddies that were already there networking. So they didn't pay, they didn't do like it, they were just an attendee. But it was a really good connection. I've spoken to him like 3 or 4 times now. Like, he is now definitely really added in my connections. He has introduced me to like 5 different people. Another podcaster, like, found out he has podcasts. Like, it just kind of opened doors because we had a 5-minute conversation at the expo. Right. And I'm not necessarily connected with him yet on Facebook or anything like that, but I will at some point. But there's other avenues, right? So he's a podcast. He wants to be on one of the podcasts I will start coming the new year. Like, we're collecting names and stuff for that one. And he's really excited about it. I met with him last night and he's just like, oh, I'm game. Right. Like, he got really excited and he has some really cool podcasts that he's doing himself that he has been doing. Found out he's also like an elder in his church and all of those things. So it was very much like-minded people. We spoke for 5 minutes. He was the last person we talked to at the expo. Just as an aside, right? Like, I don't have his bookkeeping. I have no monetary gain from this relationship. I probably will at some point though, right? Because he's highly connected. And to my understanding, no one else in his network right now is doing bookkeeping. So I can build that relationship. So being relationship minded, and I already know people I can connect him to. So that is the power of networking. It's not necessarily that you're going to show up to a networking event and walk away with a client. I would say that that's probably a false expectation. Can it happen? Absolutely. It might not. And that's okay. Because you're going to build those lists, you're going to build that conversation, and you're going to email them. You're going to follow up. Right? Follow up is where you're probably going to get the client. Building that relationship, investing the time into people. How can you serve other people instead of just looking to gain? But like, he literally, I've met his sister. I've met his brother-in-law. I have met his like in all these other conversations. He's just like, I want you to know. But I think that is the power of network marketing, and just building relationships. But we do that on Facebook. And I think we forget, because there's a screen between me and that other profile, we forget that it's a relationship. And so when we're DMing people, anytime we say that, it's like cat claws. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to DM. Change the perspective. If anything that you do feels scammy, you're probably being scammy. Like, don't do that. Right. But how can we do it? Okay, I see that you have a business. You just commented that you're not feeling ready for tax time. Maybe it's time to message them or comment and say, that's exactly what I do. Would you be willing to, like, I can help you with that? Or sharing tips because you know that you have a friend who's seeing your post or potentially seeing your post who isn't doing a good job with their bookkeeping. You have heard them say some red flags about their bookkeeping, like, oh, I want to buy a truck this year just because of a tax write-off. Well, that might not be the best tax write-off. Mileage might be the better tax write-off.
Right.
Right. So you can connect them with a CPA. If you don't know that, you can connect them with a CPA to dive into what is the best in their interest. And so maybe you're making posts and you're going to create this avatar. Kyle was just listening to a marketing presentation in his BNI group. This guy used to work for the marketing department of Kellogg's, the cereal, and just for context. And he gave his avatar of a new like IV hydration business that he's doing. And right, it goes really specific. This is their health status. This is their financial status. This is what they're doing. This is what they like. Like, you could name this avatar Sally and go through exactly who your ideal client is. Right. So we just kind of talked about that on the webinar. I know a couple of you were on it, but get really specific. This is the type of business. This is the type of car they drive. This is the type of neighborhood maybe they live in. You don't have to be that specific, but like, okay, next, where do they eat? Where do they hang out? Do they stop by networking events? Where am I going to find them? And get really specific so that you know this person that you're talking to. That way, as you search for podcasts to be on, post on Facebook, share reels, you're sharing stuff that will be relevant to them. Okay. Maybe I heard someone talk about mompreneurs from the webinar. And I was like, okay, I don't think mompreneurs as a niche in and of itself is narrow enough to be a niche, because I'm a mompreneur. Megan's a mompreneur. Someone doing nanny services is a mompreneur. Someone selling Mary Kay part-time is like a mompreneur. And it just didn't feel like you can have the millionaire that's a mompreneur, and you could have the making 10,000 a year selling something on Etsy type mompreneur. And like, it just didn't feel I targeted enough. And so we got to talking, what does that mean? And what she was actually saying was bakeries, like moms that have opened a bakery doing baking. That is a completely different marketing approach than the mompreneur, right? Because cakes are also very visual. There's a lot of things you can share on reels of like cool cakes being made, because that's going to be interesting to your target audience. Not that you don't want to be perceived to be a baker, but like there's some, like you can share really cool things that are going to get your audience's attention, or you can start doing cool things. If you wanted to do your own reels, you could start making 1-layer cakes and writing on them as part of your reels. Okay, that might be extreme. You might gain some weight, but maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe you take a piece of parchment paper and take icing and, like make a list of tax deductions and icing. I don't know. I don't know what it is you're doing, but how do you relate to those people that you're trying to target? How do you build relationships, and how do you get those conversations started? That's your goal with marketing, not just posting, posting what that does. So with Megan, what do you think posting does? So you post motivational posts, you post scripture, you post sermons, you share reels. What does that do for you?
I mean, like, so those pieces of it, one, usually help the engagement, so my other posts get seen more, I think, but also builds the relationships. Because I had, especially in the beginning of my business, when I had sent out a whole bunch of friend requests. Well, and I still do this, but sent out a ton of friend requests to business owners. I had one reach out to me, to quote bookkeeping, and the first thing that she said was she really connected with me because of the motivational post, because she really liked seeing that type of stuff. So I mean, it's definitely building those relationships, and then you're connecting with the people who are like-minded, who like that kind of stuff and things like that.
But isn't it
Yeah,
good
because
too, for people to see like your personal stuff, like that you're still just a person as well, whether it be you're a mother or you're a wife, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
you
most
like to have,
definitely.
you know, your girlfriends. But I do have a question, because I've changed my niche and it's kind of hard because so I changed my niche to restaurants, and restaurant owners aren't listed um as owners. So, you know, you can go to restaurant groups. You know, I've filed or done Cameron's program. It's worked great. But now I switch it to restaurants, it's very difficult to find out who the owners of the restaurants are. It's not as easy as some of the other like contractors or anything like that. Any suggestions on how to friend them so they're seeing your post?
yeah, so two things real quick for anyone that listened to that. Jennifer kind of did this in reverse. So she picked a niche and now she's trying to figure out how to go on Facebook. Normally, if you know you're going to do Facebook marketing, you want to find a niche that's on Facebook. So like female coaches or something like that. Like there are methodologies to find those niches on Facebook and determine if they are on Facebook. um, I can help with that in a one-to-one. I think Megan can help with that, as far as finding your client there. Outside of that, Jennifer, one of the things I would do is where are the people at? So if you're finding them in restaurant groups, you're going to friend request them there or go to their page. You're going to stalk them. That's going to take a little bit more time. The other thing you can do is figure out where they are. Are they on LinkedIn? So I know a lot of people who are targeting restaurants are targeting them on LinkedIn. The other aspect would be what mediums do they consume? So, because I know a lot of restaurants are also on Facebook because their business is, but they might not necessarily be using their personal page to promote their business. That's an industry that's starts to get pretty separate. Unless
Right.
they're
That's where I'm
sharing
struggling.
yeah. So you're going to want to find them where they're at. What podcasts do they listen to? What publications are they listening to? What YouTube channels are they listening to? What trade shows are they at? That would be an industry where I take that approach and find them where they're at, then and do that other piece of marketing. Then you're going to connect with them. You're going to meet them. You're going to be like, hey, I'm going to find you on Facebook, or like, hey, let's connect with on Facebook. Then you're going to connect with their personal page on Facebook so that they're seeing your stuff on Facebook.
Thank you. That's all good advice.
Yeah, and I wouldn't I mean, I don't know. Like I'm looking up a couple of one business owners that I know own restaurants, and they're marketing on their personal page. And there's tons of, if you type in restaurant owners, there's tons of groups that come up that have that hundreds of thousands of members in there. So I think they're on Facebook. It's just a matter of digging as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they say owner in their restaurant. I mean, these are like local just because I know who they are.
Okay. Gotcha.
Um, and I don't know if you're like sometimes the Chamber of Commerce, if you're a part of the Chamber of Commerce, they'll have the owners listed on their website and stuff too, so that might be a way of finding them. I don't know what all you've looked at or done.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm in the chamber, BNI, all that fun stuff. I'm looking to join a couple more chambers to kind of grow a little quicker, but yeah.
Well, I would take their directory and start finding some of those people, because like our chamber, we have a directory with it. So it has most of them have the business name and the business owner. So like you could search for those people on whatever social media platform.
Ashley shared on Facebook that she signed a construction client that had reached out in 2022, like so a year ago in November, on Alignable because he kept her info. We just had a coach do something similar. I think it was 2021 though, like May, like spring, summer of 2021, who reached back out because she had DM'd them. She had gone through her Facebook process, had messaged him, built a relationship, and said, "Hey, just so you know, I'm a bookkeeper." And I think the conversation ended 2.5 years later, or a year and a half later, something like that. 2.5 years later. Can't do math. He reached back out. So it's definitely like, where do you see your business? And I think that's so important. So when we do the success plan, which is starting November 6th, that's why we actually have a cash flow sheet. But in addition to being a cash flow sheet, it's also your revenue goals. So when we fill that out, you fill it out for the current, and then you start to project forward. You're going to fill it in forward. So if you're like, okay, I'm at 5,000 a month, but I want to be at 10,000 by XYZ date, you're going to start filling that in with, okay, so I need to get one, I need to do 1,000, add 1,000 a month in revenue. Okay. What are my current clients? Maybe what's my average? So maybe that's 3 clients. Maybe that's 1 client a month. And you're going to start really putting that on paper. And so like if you use Keeper, when I add a client, I add to my Keeper expense because it's like $10 a month. So I literally project the formula out based on the number of clients in my revenue. So I pull it forward so I can make sure my profit is still where I want it to be so that I can adjust to it if needed. But then I know, okay, I need 2 clients a month. What marketing do I need to do? How many people do I need to talk to? How many restaurant owners? How many bakeries do I need to find? How many people do I need to add to my Facebook? And you can reverse engineer based on either the clients you have, or if you don't have clients, you can kind of use our marketing math to give you some insight, and then we're going to test it along the way. Because if you're having 300 conversations a month or attempts at conversations, so you went to a networking event, you talked to 30 people last weekend, you talked to 50 people this weekend, you talked to 80 people the following weekend, 30 people again, that got you to like 180 people. Okay, how many of those people did you get on a call, like to actually talk about their bookkeeping, or maybe you talked to them in person about their bookkeeping and gave them a quote? We're going to start funneling that down our marketing workflow. And then, did we get a client from that? If you talk to 180 people, you should probably get a client from that. If they're really good conversations and they're doing business, they might be able to connect you with someone, right? So if you can't serve them, if they're like, that they're never going to be a client of yours, they're not the right industry, they're not personality wise a fit, whatever, can they connect you with someone? So your goal, if you cannot serve them or connect with them or whatever, your goal is to get them to give you one other person to connect you with someone. That might get you closer to your goal. So now you have 180 people. If all of them connected you with another person, that's 360 people. Not everyone's going to have someone. So let's say we did get to that 300 goal. That gives you a lot of people to talk to. That might mean 10 calls. Now, keep in mind, that's maybe 270 people that said, no, I do not need a bookkeeper. But 30 people that said, oh, yeah, I might need, I would like to talk more. I would like to learn more. I would like to make sure I'm not missing deductions, or I've got someone for you. So that's a lot of no's in all of that effort. 30 people are going to say, and this is target math. This is a guesstimate based on Megan's results, on my results. This is just an average. Not always is it perfect. It gives us some insight on, okay, did I get sloppy with how I was marketing? Or is it just that time of year? Is it a bad year to do it? All of those things. And
Right.
then after that, not year, like month, like in May, I know my responses on stuff is just going to go down. People are on vacation. Like I've just seen that. That doesn't mean I don't market in May. Like I just know that they might come back to me in August when they're thinking about it again, right? So my expectations in May are slightly different. So 270 no's, 30, yeah, let's talk more, to maybe 10 discovery calls, 15 discovery calls, where you actually get them on the phone or Zoom and talk more, get nitty gritty, do a diagnostic review. And then that's 3 clients that come out of that. Maybe not within the next 30 days, maybe in the next 90, but that's all metrics that you're going to do based on how your workflow is, so that you can start reverse engineering and projecting that forward. But all of those things we help with in that 4 weeks of intensive under the hood business discussions. So if nothing else, you get that cash flow. And we do go through a book during those 4 weeks, which I think is super helpful to get us out of ourselves, right? Get us out of just bookkeeping mode into what can the business be. Give us a different perspective on business as business, which is why we like that book. We talk about our goals because our goals help feed that cash flow projection that we do, showing what do we want for this business. Maybe you know that you don't want to onboard 3 clients. Maybe you only want to onboard 1. I like onboarding just 1 client a month. But I know, like, how many clients am I going to lose in a year? How many clients do I need to replace those clients to stay even? If I want to stay even, if I want to grow, I might, that might change. Maybe it's 2 to 3 clients, depending on how many do you anticipate losing, because there is going to be turnover. You can still have a client stay with you from the beginning. You can have clients that stay with you for 10 years. But you're going to have clients that maybe you need to fire because it's a bad fit. We need to give ourselves room to do that. We need business coming in so that we can say, you are driving me absolutely up the wall. You are trying to bend every policy and procedure I have. It's not a good fit. Or your bookkeeping is way above my head. I need to let you go because I cannot serve you well. Or you're not giving me stuff timely. I need to let you go because you're driving my staff crazy. They're terrified you're going to dump it on them December 24th and expect it to be done by January 1st, right? Like, and they don't have, we all don't want to have that conversation with you. So maybe, all of those things. And I'm just making up scenarios. So, but we want consistent leads coming in, and that's how we start to kind of project out. What do we need? What do we want? Especially so that we can factor in, like, I want to leave my job. So if you want to leave your job, what do you need to live on? Can we build a buffer so that you're not stressed can we build some emergency fund in the business and for yourself before you make that jump? How can we price it so that you're not taking on 10 clients in 1 month and overwhelming yourself? Of course, granted, I have seen bookkeepers take on 7 to 10 clients and be just fine. because they have policies and procedures set up, which is what we talk about week 4, week 3, something like that. Okay, now I'm just talking. I like the success plan. I'm excited that it's happening again. This is our 4th round, 4th round, 3rd round, 4th
Yeah.
round.
I think it's the 4th round, yeah. I did drop the link in the chat here and in the chat on the live as well.
Fun. I'm excited. This one,
So-
the calls are going to happen on Mondays. So starting November 6th. Sorry, Megan, go ahead.
Nope, I was just gonna say, that was a link to purchase is all I was gonna say. Mondays, 11 a.m. Central.
So, does anyone have any questions before we jump off? Anything we can help with to keep you moving forward or improve? Maybe you're moving forward and you're like, I just want to improve something.
This is not a question, but I thank you, ladies. You all are doing a great job.
Yeah.
You're encouraging, and you stick with difficult people like me. So, I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Anyone else? I don't want to leave you guys hanging if you have something that you're like, I really wish I could ask this or solve this. Okay. Coolio. Megan, anything else on Facebook Live? I think I closed it out accidentally.
Nope,
so.
I don't see anything.
Cool. Well, we will see you guys next Thursday or in the success plan, which is it already Monday? It's already Monday, guys. That starts Monday. Monday.
Yep.
So,
Thank you.
thanks, Debbie. Bye, guys.
Bye.